Welcome to a special edition of Pulp NonFiction, the paper and packaging podcast. I'm Greg Johnson with Sustana Fiber, and although my co-host, Dr. Marta Pazos, is on assignment, we've prepared a holiday treat for you this December. The best of Pulp NonFiction, a recap of some of our most memorable guests since our very first episode debuted in September of 2021. So relax, sit back, and enjoy the podcast.
So for me personally, as I said, I'm really interested in kind of our waste and how do we make our waste not waste? How do we actually have a really deep relationship with waste in a positive way and see it as resources rather than waste? How do we look to what we have and not just see it as a cup, but you're seeing that as paper and you're seeing that as pulp and you're seeing that as wood. It's not just a cup that's now lost its value because you drank a coffee out of it. Like you're seeing it as a resource that's been taken, and I've got responsibility over that. Like something was, taken from the earth and now I have that. So I'm really interested in that. Like, how do I change my perception of waste and make it energy and a resource?
When I think of the word sustainability, I think of success. I do not think of failing. And the reason I think of success is because, number one, studies have shown those corporations that started long ago with the processes towards sustainability are far outperforming those that didn't. So I do not think of failure when I think of sustainability. I only think of success because those are the companies that we're working with. And there's also this, there's been a huge shift since we started as an organization. We were trying to say, okay, it's really good for the planet. Come along, do your part. But now we can honestly say, look, this is about your bottom line. Do you want to save money? Do you want to be successful? Do you want to have better employees, more passionate employees, attract more, of the top tier employees? And those are the things that the sustainable businesses and even the new eco businesses are attracting. They get way more opportunities than those businesses who are not going down that path. That's what we're seeing for sure.
What's unbelievable about Sustana is that, one of the things about when you're using materials that have been used already, right, which is PCR, post-consumer recycled content, whether it's paper or plastic, it's gone through a pretty dirty chain, right? Think about your garbage can, your recycling bin, your truck. What Sustana has done is this food grade paper, recycled paper, which, believe me, is no easy feat to get that kind of FDA approval. So the magic pixie dust of Sustana has made this recycled paper, pulp, let's call it that, able to be incorporated with food grade products. So ECOLOGIC, we are also a recycler of paper, but the fact that we use it in non-food grade applications is because we have that limitation that you have figured out really, really well. So as we move into, the next phase for us for sure will be, the beverage and the food business, which the standards, of course, and have to be. We have to protect consumer health and safety. As the standards start climbing around direct contact with the material, that's where Sustana really has a competitive advantage, because it's easy to do it in virgin. All virgin paper, of course, can be food grade contact, but if we want to go to this sustainable future and the reuse of materials, Sustana's technology and really taking out the impurities that end up happening through the use of paper and the disposal and recycling of paper is really a very bright star in this new sustainable material world.
I think it starts with being more intentional. And I've been in this role for 3 years, so I was one of the founding director for Sunoco Fresh, and I have to say I have learned as much as our students have, if not more, about kind of the whole conversation. How do you approach it? So a lot of it is intentionality. I live in Greenville, which does not collect glass for recycling, but Clemson does. So I collect my glass, put it in my car when I'm coming to work. I drop it off at the recycling center. So things like that, you just kind of make the extra effort.
So that's a really good question, Greg. And I don't know the answer yet. From our standpoint, we deal with so many logistics that it is really hard for us outside of the outside box to be able to manage our ship out with anything other than plastic. And that's frustrating for me as somebody who believes in sustainability. And it's also really frustrating, I think, for our customers. One of the ideas that we have on the go forward basis is to work with you, with Sustana, to come up with some kind of very cool product that could be unique and revolutionary. When I look at these boxes that are getting shipped today, I mean, there are a couple of brands on the market. There's Temper Pack and there's Climasol, and people are working kind of collaboratively within those categories. And I would say that they have not really expanded beyond it yet. But I think that there's a way for us to get there.
These are times where you can actually make sustainability fun, make recycling fun. I think the Waste Management Open does that really well and just engages people and makes sustainability kind of part of the experience. So that's the ideal, but at the very least, making it easy. So having, very clear signs, very accessible bins, disposal points. And so making it so that there's really not a question that someone doesn't have to stand at a bin and think for more than a millisecond of where their cup should actually go. And then the other point is, in addition to setting up the spaces properly, the venue's procuring those materials is really important. So if we want to incentivize people to recycle, we probably need to make sure we have recyclable products in our facilities. So connecting those two dots and then making sure they coordinate with each other on procurement as well as disposal is really important.
First, I would say I hope my crystal ball would tell me that people are going to continue, many years from now, still engaging in social stationery. And I think that all stems from, parenting and making sure that etiquette is still in place when it needs to be. But I think that there is definitely a sustainable system that could be that could work. I mean, it may not be too far off to think about it almost like the farm to table movement, where there might be a way where, sourcing trees that could create an excellent product that could somehow, close the loop on the paper production by recycling the pulp through Sustana and be able to, have this cool system of just within the social stationery arena, perhaps. But I think that obviously means that we have to have enough people using social stationery to make that worthwhile. But I think that's kind of that would be a cool thing to see in my crystal ball.
So you've touched on a really important topic that's near and dear to our heart, right? This whole idea of, circularity and using just what we need. What we have found is we've got a print ad out right now where we take that concept of your paper, your magazine, your box can become, right? And we present it in a circular way. And then we have reminders of the forest and that renewable resource that it came from. And that ad is working so powerfully for us because without saying circular, right, consumers are understanding right? The reuse of the material, the reuse of the fiber, and then they see the forest and they're reminded that it's renewable. And so we are going to be tackling circularity through less about sort of, trying to drill into people's heads kind of the exact science of it, and more just implying that through both the reuse of fiber when you recycle it, and then the renewability of forests. And again, reminding consumers that our industry helps put back twice the volume that it uses in any given year.
Join us next month for a brand new episode of Pulp NonFiction, the paper and packaging podcast. And please be sure to visit sustanafiber.com for previous podcasts, as well as for information on all of our recycled fiber products for your sustainable packaging needs. Thanks again. Remember to recycle, and we'll see you again soon.